Regan Smith, however, is going to just, hopefully, if everything works out well for Greg Biffle, Regan will just qualify this car. Greg will shuttle over from Martinsville and get to race this car tomorrow, and then go back to Martinsville and compete in the NASCAR Nextel Cup Series event there on Sunday. That's something Greg's been doing the last couple of years. In fact, David Rudiman qualified this car last year and put it right on the pole. Biffle was also on the pole here in 02. So, boy, things a little tough now for Regan Smith. He's got to live up to that. 2 times this car's been on the pole, and let's see how he can do. Well, he's really going to have to step it up. A 23.292, 115.9 only puts this car 10th on the grid for now. Regan has one Busch Series start here back in 2002. He started 16th, finished 39th. 29 career Busch Series starts to his record. 10 starts this year. And for Greg Biffle, no pole this time, but he did improve from the last lap. He's up to 9th with a 23.081, 116.979.
Shane Meal knows exactly how he likes his truck, and in only one lap he says, I need to free this truck up. So they came in, made a track bar adjustment, and splashed it with fuel.
Now Shane is one driver who really likes to drive sideways, most of the time coming out of turns. And so when Wendy mentions he wants it freed up, I'm sure that Regan Smith, who qualified that truck, had it probably pretty balanced, but Shane doesn't drive that way. He is, I guess you would say, unbalanced.
Well, we've got to give Regan a lot of credit here. He jumped in a foreign truck to him, ended up qualifying the truck in 16th position comfortably in the field in order for Shane to jump in this thing.
Next qualifier is the 4th car from Ginn Racing, Regan Smith, who lives in Mooresville, North Carolina, but his hometown is just outside Syracuse, New York. Up out of the NASCAR Busch Series, he and Mark Martin will share the 01 Army Chevrolet, alternating rides for most of 2007. But to get him some valuable Daytona experience, the team decided to bring a 4th car here to Daytona for Regan Smith.
And I talked to his crew chief, Doug Randolph, yesterday, and they said this is probably the only time they will do this is run them both in the same race. The rest of the year, they'll alternate driving the 01 car.
Good experience for this kid, though. You got to be here for this, feel this pressure, feel the tension, what it's like to not be in, trying to get in, and all the things that go with that.
He is 23 years old, Darrell. He's been racing for 19 years. He started at age 4 in a quarter midget car and was the 1999 National Legacy Series champion. He's raced here 4 times in the Busch Series and once in Craftsman Truck.
Not a shabby lap. Decent.
48.94. Regan Smith is 5th fastest, but more importantly, he is the fastest of the drivers who have to time or race their way in.
Remember Dale Earnhardt Jr. out this week and next due to post-concussion syndrome, with difficulties after the accident at Talladega and a testing crash at Kansas about 5 weeks ago. Regan Smith getting the opportunity in this 88 car for the next couple of races, and right now doing a pretty solid job. Dave, what's he saying?
Nothing, Alan, and that's a great thing. Very comfortable, very confident. I checked in with his crew. They decided to stay out both of these early caution flag periods, and he's really reported nothing on the race car. Just going forward, he's going the right direction.
15th place for Regan Smith, started back in 26th.
White flag is out. 1 lap to go for Regan Smith. His return to the Nationwide Series looks like it's going to be on a winning note.
Here's the white.
And there is Ricky Stenhouse Jr. comfortably in the 6th position. Here comes Regan.
Coming to the checkers this time.
It'll be his first career win in 103 nationwide starts, but the last one came all the way back in 2007.
Coming to the checkers.
Out of turn 4, he's going to win the race.
During this last stretch of green flag racing, Kurt Busch put Jimmy Johnson a lap down. Remember Johnson starting at the back, not having turned a lap in this car yet this week. Birth of his second daughter, he and wife Chandra welcoming a little girl at 2:02 in the morning yesterday. And Jimmy progressed up to about 27th place, but now he's slipping and sliding around and he's gone a lap down.
It's tough enough to start in the rear at these short tracks, but without practice and all that, it's really a tall order. I think that this team will probably work on the car and have a lot of time to get it back, and they get back into this thing before it's over.
Regan Smith subbing for Tony Stewart in the 14 car. Had to drop to the back end of the field. Is up to the 21st place now by not pitting on this caution. Of course, Stewart sitting out, choosing to sit out today's race, involved in an accident during a sprint car race last night at Canandaigua Speedway nearby the Watkins Glen area, in which a driver lost his life following an incident on the track.
Regan Smith is filling in for Kurt Busch today in the 41 car. Smith was in the garage early this morning getting a final seat fitting and also getting the comforts of the cockpit to his liking. Smith has not practiced this car in the pack draft, but he told me just before climbing in today he feels no apprehension. Yes, the driver is different, but the team goal is the same: win the Daytona 500. Chris?
Now, we mentioned Regan Smith is in for Kyle Larson, who is ailing. For late-breaking stories, beginning with that one, Jamie Little.
Well, Mike, as soon as word came out that Kyle Larson would not be cleared to race today, there was only one driver on their mind, Regan Smith. He got the official call at 3:30 in the morning, got here to the track at 7:30 this morning. He sat in the car and they made some comfort changes for him. He's actually running Jamie McMurray's seat, a different steering wheel, a different shifter. The tachometer is set up to his liking. And oh, by the way, the fire suit, well, he couldn't fit in Kyle, so he's borrowing one of the pit crews with some tape over the name, Chris.
Regan Smith in the 88, going by the 70, by Derek Cope.
It's just continuous action for these drivers, Rick. We talk about how demanding this racetrack is. It's more than just physically demanding, mentally demanding for the driver, for the spotter, to be in constant communication about what lines are open for the driver.
It's worked now for Ty Dillon as he's been able to get by the 88, now maybe using the 0 of Garrett Smithley as a pick. That puts Regan Smith up in the high line, and he had to check up as both the 3 and the 2 went by.
That 2 car is being driven by Regan Smith. Regan was contacted yesterday afternoon about 5 p.m. by the Richard Childress Group. Said, would you like to drive our car tomorrow? Because our chaser, Austin Dillon, needs to sit out and be ready for this afternoon's event. That's what they're doing. Smith said on the first run, I'm just sort of feeling it out right now. No laps, of course, for Regan in the 2 car.
I didn't mind if other people had fresher tires than me, as long as I wasn't the first one that they could get to. Once they get to you, they just start eating you up.
And that's the case with Regan Smith in that 43. Fresher tires on that 43 car.
An update on Eric Almirola. He is improving week to week. And he says the difficulty in his stage of recovery right now is that his back doesn't hurt anymore, but he still has to be careful with it. No back brace or anything like that, but he's still on limited duty, no lifting, and of course, no racing, not for several weeks to come. But good to hear that he's progressing nicely after that Kansas crash.
Yeah, it's the what ifs that you have to worry about. What if you get back in the car and something happens again right away? That's the thing you have to be concerned about.
They said they won't rush it. Richard Petty Motorsports kind of coy on their plans from here on out. Regan Smith has been in this car and done a good job for them the last 3 weeks.
Yeah, boy, when I think of fill-in drivers, and I mean, Regan has his own abilities without being a fill-in driver. Listen, he won in that 78 car, Furniture Row at Darlington. He's a great driver, but boy, when it comes to filling in, he's like the top of everybody's list.
He's the guy they call.
Regan Smith from the rear of the field back to 7th position.
Yeah, really nice rebound. You know, it's easy to get frustrated as a driver. He made his way up through and then made the mistake of getting down into the corner, trying to make a pass. Wheel hopped, got off into the sand trap, maneuvered his way out of there. But between pit strategies and good driving, got himself situated back in a position to make a good day of this.
Regan was in Watkins Glen last week on Baby Watch for Denny Hamlin. Asked him if spending time with the Toyota people and with the Joe Gibbs Racing people was helpful to him, and he said yes, definitely. Language, just listening in, being part of the organization gave him a little bit more comfort level as he jumped in the car this weekend.
Yeah, that and being a former winner here, so understanding that, I put all those things together. You can see he's really hustling the car right now.
Oh, that's the case for Regan Smith as well, who hasn't been in a Cup car for 17 months. He's filling in for Casey Cannon. Guys, this team did something really odd. They came down pit road here under the pace laps to allow him to stop in the box, because he hasn't done that in so long, Marty.
The field set by owner points, so why would the top two in the championship standings choose the first two pit stalls on pit road? Because they're much quicker. Rodney Childers told me that even the second stall here on pit road is half a second faster than other stalls further down.
As you see Regan Smith making a bid for position here, that's on Tommy Joe Martins in the 66.
That's him and Justin Haley trying to work their way through the field. Both went to the back after having to fix those cars after qualifying, work on some mechanical issues. Regan Smith is still fighting with the brakes at the end of qualifying. They're moving through handily.
He's taking on Will Rogers now. Rogers in the green and white, 86 to the outside. Smith will have the preferred line for a moment.
Yeah, and then Rogers gave it to him. Thought better of it there. Realized, yeah, you know what? You're a little faster. I'll just try and slot in behind here. Oh, Tommy Joe Martins gets really loose out of turn 5.
Dylan Welch has more on Regan Smith.
Well, as you guys alluded to, Dave, I mean, it has been a trying weekend already for this 8 car. Of course, they had some debris that they ran over in practice. The first practice that hurt the underbody of the car. Then they had a little off-road excursion in final practice yesterday. So felt like they got it all out of the way. And then they had this brake issue in qualifying. So it's been a weekend about overcoming adversity. The good thing that Regan has on his side, and this is something his crew chief Taylor Moyer mentioned, that Regan has so much experience. He's driven for so many different teams, has so much knowledge that he can bring just in kind of helping this 8 team improve as a whole, and especially when they have to overcome adversity like this. So if there's any guy that knows what it takes to have to come from the back, it's Regan. He's experienced, he's composed, he's poised, and he's not going to force the issue early on here as he tries to march forward.